Welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1, where we challenge the assumptions of our current society to resist oppression and investigate alternative ways of living, for a world based on justice, solidarity and sustainability. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. It is your local community radio station. My name is Andy and I will be on your radio for the next hour, in which I will speak to Salwa Abughali, who is in Jenin in the West Bank. If you are familiar with Palestinian history, Jenin has often been a sort of flashpoint for conflict, particularly, Israeli occupation in the West Bank, a place of heavy occupation, heavy fighting. And I have spoken to a number of people in Palestine, all in the West Bank. I haven't yet ever managed to contact somebody in Gaza, but yeah, I think it is really important. I do have the contacts in Palestine, and I think it is really important to hear from people on the ground, hear their experiences, their viewpoints, and get directly the message from people who are suffering or people who are eyewitness to things. And so this one will be another show where we interview somebody from Palestine, and it's just been such a ever-present issue, not just the violence that's going on there, which of course is continually horrifying, but also, I guess, politically around the world, how Western nations have dealt with this, where it's a Western ally and a trading partner, and even a trading partner of military assets, weapons, how they deal with this when there is a conflict of this scale and of this kind of mismatch, injustice, where it's just an incredible slaughter of tens of thousands of people. And even we'll talk a bit about the prisoner exchanges. Obviously, the Israeli hostages, my heart goes out to them. It's not nice to be held captive, and we wouldn't wish it on anybody, and let's work to a world where it doesn't happen to anybody. But the prisoner exchanges as well, it's been 30 Palestinian prisoners released for every hostage. Like, there's just so many people detained in Palestine for purely political crimes or for no crimes at all, just people that are arbitrarily detained. And so it's a terrible situation. It's one that has been going on for a long time, but has really come to light in the last year and a half. For so many of us in the Western world, we're no longer able to live our lives ignoring the reality of what's happening there. And so it has just been such a significant political issue, and there is still more events happening about it. There is a art exhibition going on this week. It's called Seeing Gaza, a fundraiser. It is at Vacant Assembly Gallery, 266 Montague Road, West End. And there'll certainly be another Palestinian-themed rally for Palm Sunday. And there's been protests continuing at weapons companies, which are continuing to sell weapons to Israel, weekly protests at Boeing, and there's been people in court this week around protests at Farah. And so in Brisbane as well, it's been a big political issue and something that has really gathered people together and mobilised people to try to do what we can, even from afar. And so it's been important to cover it on the Paradigm Shift. And today, as I said, we will be speaking with Salwa Abughali from Jenin in the West Bank. And let's have a listen to Salwa.
My name is Salwa. I'm from Jenin. I live in the West Bank. I am 34 years old. My background is in teaching. Now I'm working with Natakallam. I give Arabic lessons for foreigners.
And you said that you live in Jenin in the West Bank, which has often been a bit of a conflict area. Can you tell us what it's like living in Jenin?
In my opinion, I don't say it's a conflict, actually. Jenin is considered as a hot area, to be honest. I feel that we live in a frying pan. Every day we have something new, we have something to talk about, we have something to discuss, even in our daily life. Unfortunately, we feel that it's normal to have these things in our life. But, of course, for ordinary people, let's say, it's not. Living in Jenin is not easy, to be honest. We feel that Jenin, we have to stay in it, even if it's not that much safe. You don't know if you get out of the house, of your house, you will return or not. You don't know what will happen after 1 hour. You don't know what will you face while you are going to work, while you are going to school. So it is something you feel that you live in a foggy days, especially these days after what's happening. They are here since 2 months. Yeah, it's not easy to live in Jenin, especially for someone who lived in many places like me. I lived in Nablus, I lived in Tulkarem as well as Jenin. And as I lived in US actually, so it is a big difference. And you come back to your home and you compare your life there and here. So Jenin is special. Jenin is, we call it even the nicest thing for Jenin, that is the fruit and the vegetables basket for the West Bank. But after these bad things, what's happening to Jenin and the destruction of the infrastructure, have a lot of displaced people from the camp, it's a heavy day. Let's say it is heavy days for Jenini people.
Did things change in Jenin after the increase of the Israeli occupation after October 7th, 2023?
Yeah, I think the whole region is different now after 7th of October. Especially Jenin, they started to call it is a small Gaza. Before that date, Jenin was escalating in different ways since we have just one camp, refugee camp, and not just the camp affected, actually, the whole city is affected. Actually, I don't remember since that days till now, this moment, we have 1 day in peace. We have a lot of incursions. Even we forgot the days of incursions. We forgot the names of the martyrs. We forgot a lot of details. In the past, we have martyrs or incursions from once a month. The drones affected us too much. Our psychological problems increased. Children suffer a lot. Even they are not from the camp. They are from Jenin city, because we feel that the camp is part of the Jenin city. Yeah, it's not easy to live these moments with all of these memories.
So in Gaza, where there's been so much bombing, the justification is the presence of Hamas and the hostages being held there. But in the West Bank, in Jenin, what does the Israeli government say is the reason for the incursions they do?
You know, the whole context is different. It's like they never leave Jenin or the West Bank. So we used to have Israelis, but in Gaza it's totally different. By the way, I have a Gazan families there, so it's not my uncles are there, and I went in. My last time was in 2006, so I know the whole the whole area there. Not the whole area, of course, but all my childish things I spent there. But here I think about there is no executions or something like this. Like they don't have these things, or even in our mindset here, we know if there is or not, they will attack because this is a part of their strategy, their agenda.
Just to maintain the occupation and maintain control.
Yeah.
With your family in Gaza, have you had contact with them, and how have they been going?
My uncles, they are not better than people from there. So even I feel that not all my passion to talk about the life here and there, not just because I have family there. It was very difficult in the beginning to talk with them because there are no electricity since I was going there, to be honest, which is shocking for me. But after the 7th of October, life is, of course, become more difficult. Wow. It's very difficult, yes. Now without any services, let's say, that they need, without food, without water. Maybe people will hear and they will say she is exaggerating. I wish that I'm exaggerating. I wish. But this is reality, unfortunately. Yeah, it's very difficult to talk with them, and even to talk, where are you, how are you? Because to ask this question is, you know my situation. Why you will ask me this question? So many times when we heard that, of course they displaced from more than once. They moved from one place to another, and now they are living in a tent as people there. And I have actually a big family, so they are scattered, which is very difficult for us to realize that the one big family, Palestinians has a great community of family gathering, especially in Ramadan, Eid, these special moments for us. But now they don't feel that there are unity, being one family. And even when we call someone from my uncles to ask him about someone from the family, they don't know about each other because they didn't see each other since weeks or months. It's very difficult to move from one place to another. And I told my family here, it's like you have to be ready for any news that we will hear. We have to prepare ourselves. I hope no one dies, but who knows?
Well, one of the things that I want to talk about with you today is ceasefire, and something Palestinian people have been asking for a long time. And this year we have seen a ceasefire of a sort. But let's start with, for Palestinian people, what does ceasefire mean?
Interesting question. Ceasefire in Arabic literally means stop shooting. What does it mean for us? Means a break from something that was continuous for long days and months. Of course, we need it. We just need to breathe a little bit to feel that we have much time to live. We feel that our children have more days to entertain, to be children like any other child in the world. Because our children, they are not the children like someone who live in X country, you know. Even for ceasefire, they ask, till when? How long will be or will stay? So they know it's a temporary situation that might stay or not, or have a long time or not. But the tricky things that I think the community here is convinced that even if we have a ceasefire, the Israeli will violate it.
Because it wasn't entirely stopping of hostilities or military incursions. Can you tell us what was the experience of that ceasefire like for you?
It's another chance to live again in this life. I heard a lot of stories after that. You know, they were in trauma. They didn't know who is alive, who is not. What happened to that person? What happened to their houses? So in this 1 month, it was like a nostalgia. Let's say they came back to their real life, but with a lot of traumas. I heard actually an awful stories about this. So they realized that what they lived, they were in a continuous traumatic events. Every day they have something, every day. For this, it was something they felt that let's take a break, but we don't have time. It's very challenging, not easy to realize. Even us, to be honest, in West Bank, we were very happy that there is a ceasefire, but at the same time we were thinking of them, how they will realize the idea of losing many of their families. For us, if someone dies in our family, it's like we take months to realize it, the reality. But what about them? I think they are really from another world, to be honest. We always say it's and even for the word resilient, they all people, they say, oh, they are resilient, they are. Yes, they are, to be honest, but in a different way. They are. They don't have any other chance to face. They don't have any other thing to do. So after this, they realized that there are no ways to live life, even if you are attacked.
This is the experience for the people in Gaza.
Yeah.
There were reports that after the ceasefire began in Gaza that there were more bombings and incursions in the West Bank. Was that true?
Yes. In the first day from the ceasefire, they started in Jenin. The first day. So the first day of ceasefire in Gaza, they attacked Jenin. It was an incursion, and since that day till the moment, they are in Jenin. Let's say the settlers in different places attacking villages, burning their properties. Yeah.
Did that continue through the 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's let's say doubled, not doubled or trebled. In the past, they didn't. They were coming to arrest someone for the maximum 10 days of incursion. But now, look, since that day, since the ceasefire till today, it's like more than 2 months. Now in Jenin and Tul Karim, the camps are empty. So the refugees from the camp, they are now refugees again, internal refugees. So it's in the past we didn't have empty camps, and now we have.
Where have the people gone to from that refugee camp?
Most of them, they went to their families, extended families, I mean, their relatives. The municipality, the governorate, they opened the big halls for them. but they started to rent if someone has money, especially after the economic crisis here. They are renting houses. But it's very, very difficult to collect all of them because they are scattered even in villages around Jenin. They want to settle in, but every time I meet someone from the camp, he said, "No, we will come back to the camp. We will come back to the camp." It's very difficult actually to speak with them. Even where are you? Even when I ask them, "Where are you from?" they start to say, "I'm from the camp," and they start to cry. It's very emotional to speak with them. You have to be picky in your words. It's not easy to speak with them at all.
You're listening to The Paradigm Shift on 4ZZZ. We have been speaking with Salwa Abughali, who is in Jenin in the West Bank of Palestine. We've been talking about life in Jenin, generally life under occupation, and about ceasefire and the experience of the recent ceasefire. I'm going to go back to the next and last part of my interview with Salwa now. And before I play, I will mention that it is interesting, this part of the interview. I guess one of the valuable things about talking to people on the ground in Palestine or in any place, where we're talking about someone, the old catchphrase says, "Don't talk about us without us," when it comes to people who are suffering or people who are being pushed to the margins. And I guess in this case, you're speaking to somebody who's in Palestine, who has lived their whole life under occupation. You hear their perspective, and it is quite interesting in this part to hear, I guess, the perspective of what it's meant, people dying in Gaza, and how it relates to the freeing of Palestinian hostages who have been imprisoned by Israel, some for many years, and being released. It wouldn't necessarily be my opinion that there's been any kind of remote trade-off in this immense suffering caused in the last year and a half. But anyway, we'll have a listen to Salwa and her thoughts on that and other things. And what about in Gaza? At the beginning of the ceasefire announcement, there was a lot of celebration and aid trucks were able to enter. But what did it look like over the course of the 6 weeks? For the trucks and these things, actually people, they say, we heard about it. And even on other media channels, they say we heard about it. We didn't receive any. What enters Gaza does not afford the whole families there. There are a lot of people there. They need a lot of things, services, food, water, and they are humans as other people. You're saying conditions didn't get better for people there?
No. I don't think what enters comparable what happened. It will be able for them to live. It's very, very difficult. Actually, they eat cans food. It's like things they never tried in their life. And sometimes it's out of date or expired. So it's very difficult to face these things and talk with them. It's a sensitive topic, When we talk with them about this, there is a dignity in this life. And they always say, when I speak with someone, which is very rare, they say it's like, in Europe, they respect animals. I hope we are animals to be respected at this. You know how much this phrase is very difficult for us to hear. They don't feel that they are human to get their things in a respected way.
So a big part of the ceasefire arrangement was the prisoner exchange of the hostages taken by Hamas from Israel, but also of a number of Palestinian prisoners being held by Israel. Can you tell us, for Palestinian people, what does that prisoner exchange mean?
It means freedom. It means a dream. It means come back to the life. I heard it from many, from the media. We never thought that we will come back to live among our families. They are trying Ramadan for the first time with their families. They are trying Eid. Actually, the whole Palestine is, when it happened, was happy. At the same time, it was a tax for Gazans to be killed, for the prisoners to be out. It's like a trade. They paid a lot of blood for them to be released. Sometimes we feel that nothing can really achieve what they think. As normal people like me or other people who lived in their houses, for the ones they were in prisons or they were killed, even we are Palestinians, we are not equal at all.
Are you saying that the Palestinians who died in the bombing in Gaza, that was a sacrifice that had to be made for the release of the prisoners?
Yes. We say it was a tax.
It's a very serious price to pay. How do people feel? Was the tax worth it?
Of course, nothing worth for someone to lose his life or her life, or even children. But I think in our context, I'm not in a position to speak about them. Whatever I suffered here as a third part, let's say, but not like them. I can't say any word, to be honest, about their feeling, how they, is it sacrifice or not. But as Muslims, we feel that all Palestinians here, we live this life. We believe that one day there will be a victory, we'll be free. So I think back to our religion, back to our faith, it's worth. But actually, to be honest, really, I'm not in a position to speak about them on this thing. It's very difficult. I'm nothing to speak about them at this point.
Now, there's negotiations happening right now for the next part of the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. What are you hoping that next part of the ceasefire would look like?
It's very difficult. We hope, but for this time we feel that it's very... we don't have that much hope, because now they are expanding in Gaza. It's not easy for them. They are not even, when they ask them to move from one place to another for the millionth time, they decided that we will not move. We will not be displaced again. They can kill us again. Even us from behind the screens, it's very difficult to realize this. What about them? I hope that ceasefire will happen, and at least the children has more days to live in normally, but the trauma that they live in, they will stay forever with them.
And what about a real long-lasting ceasefire, a real peace in Israel and Palestine? What do you think would need to happen for a real peace?
I don't know what should I say, but we dream on it. We have faith that one day we will... You say is a ceasefire, we say freedom. One day, inshallah. But inshallah soon, let's say. I will be so optimistic and say yes, inshallah soon. Without any victims, without any more blood, without any prisons, someone in prison, inshallah soon.
Do you think that there are any things that could change politically or socially that might enable a peace?
Of course, when we have peace, everything will change. The mindset, our sleep will change. We don't sleep as people. They sleep. Even here in the West Bank, I will not compare my life in Gaza because they live in another planet. No, Here, if we didn't hear the drone, we say there is something wrong, or we didn't hear the helicopter or anything related to occupation. Could you imagine how is life here? What about Gaza? So if we have peace, it will not easy to live the life as it is. It will be awkward, to be honest. It's like, is this the real life? I remembered when I went to US how people they live, and actually in even Jordan, let's say I went to Jordan, the way people they live, it's totally different. Jordan is far away from here, 5 hours maximum. They live in a different planet. People they laugh, people they stay at night out. This is something we dream. People they go to different places without holding a lot of documents, ID, passport, permit, a lot of things. So could you imagine the life? We can't compare. And even in Gaza, we can't compare West Bank with Gaza and even 48 lands. It's like we are in different worlds.
Yeah. Well, is there any final message you would like to send to people in Australia who are listening to this?
I think what people did in the past, we are grateful. We didn't think that they will do this for us, to go in a protest and to know more about Palestinians, to know more about Palestine. I think my final message: go search, read a lot of things about Palestine. Palestinians love life. We are humans. We want to live as people in different places, as in Australia. And even, to be honest, the children, they don't know that there are Australian people there, or the word is Australia. What does it mean? So let your children know about Palestine, as we are trying to think and convince our children that there are many countries they are stand with us.
Okay. Thanks very much, Salwa, for chatting with us.
Thank you. Thanks for your support and have a moment to talk about Palestinians.
We have been speaking with Salwa Abughali from Jenin in the West Bank of Palestine. Over the last few years, I've consciously tried to get a number of different people from Palestine to hear their perspectives on what's happening, to help us understand this thing that so often can just be a kind of abstract thing that's happening out there somewhere in the world, even when we're seeing, if you're like me, you see a lot of not only news about it in traditional channels, but social media things about it. But to try to hear from people on the ground and try to understand what life is like for those people. And so I think that interview with Salwa was another great chance to do that. And I'll be back next week with more people who are out there trying to change the world, hearing from them. I'll see you next week.